Before attempting any service of the SkyWater 14, make sure that the machine is off and unplugged from the power outlet. For further clarity, please refer to assembly drawing 10010031 plumbing assembly. And also refer to assembly drawing 10010037 testing and sanitation. Remove the high pressure from the lines by dispensing the cold and hot water faucets to prevent unnecessary spraying. Remove the back panel by unscrewing these 7 screws. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then slide back down the back panel to access the back of the machine. Slide back and remove the top panel to gain access to the upper assembly. And then remove the front 2 screws in order to take off the front. To remove the front panel, lift the front panel upwards and then outwards. So in order to remove the side panel, we have to unscrew the 2 screws right here and also the 2 screws in the back. Now remove the side panel. Replace the SkyWater 14 water filter with the water filter replacement tool and then spray with alcohol. Empty the cold water vessel. We're going to empty the cold water vessel and the hot water vessel. So we're going to disconnect this John Guest tube. And we're going to connect it to an external drain. And in order to drain, we have to release the top tube from the cold water vessel. And watch the draining begin. After draining, reconnect the top tube to the cold water vessel. After draining the cold water vessel, remove the drain line and leave the bottom tube unattached. Remove the bottom hot water vessel plastic tube first. Attach the drain line and prepare the draining reservoir. Remove the top hot water vessel plastic tube and drain it. Drain the hot water vessel. The hot water vessel is now draining. Okay, reconnect the top and bottom plastic tubes to the hot water vessel. In order to sanitize the SkyWater 14, you will need at least a gallon of 70-30 isopropyl alcohol. We are filling this 5-gallon jug with isopropyl alcohol. And to perform the sanitation, we're going to utilize an auxiliary power supply and auxiliary pump. We are going to connect the in tube to the alcohol and the out tube to the cold water vessel. And once we plug in the external pump, the alcohol is going to flow from this reservoir tank through the system of the SkyWater 14, properly sanitizing the system. Plug in the power supply to begin the sanitation process. The pump is now transporting the alcohol and filling both the cold water and hot water vessels full of alcohol, sanitizing the system. Once the system is full, the pump will deactivate. You can now dispense alcohol from the cold and hot water taps. Alcohol is now being dispensed. Unplug the pump. Dispense out of the cold and hot water tap to remove the pressure. Drain the cold water vessel. Drain the alcohol from the cold water vessel by removing the tube, connecting your draining line to your tank, and once again we are going to disconnect the top tube, and we are now draining alcohol out of the system. After draining the cold water vessel, remove your drain line and be sure to reconnect the top tube on the cold water vessel. Now drain the hot water vessel. Remove the bottom drain line, attach the drain line after removing the bottom tube, and then remove the top tube, and the alcohol begins to drain out of the system. The system is now fully sanitized and the cold and hot water vessels are drained. Reconnect the hot water lines. Now only the water pump needs to be sanitized. Sanitize the water pump lines by disconnecting the pump tube from the John Guest. Connect the pump tube. Insert the pump tube inside a bottle of isopropyl alcohol. Now plug in the SkyWater 14 and activate the pump. The alcohol will flow through the pump. Once the alcohol is pumped through the system, turn the machine off and unplug from the power source. Water pump sanitation is now complete. Reconnect all the lines. Remove the air filter and spray the evaporator with alcohol. Remove the water filter replacement tool and reinsert the original water filter. Now reassemble the machine and return to normal operation.